To describe the Outer Worlds as Fallout in space, although tempting, would be misleading and inaccurate. Although the Outer Worlds retains a lot of similarities with some of the entries in the Fallout series, most noticeably Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, the game plays like a fusion between Fallout and Borderlands, placing itself somewhere between the two. The Outer Worlds certainly ditches the more serious, horrific post-apocalyptic landscapes of the Fallout games and takes a step towards levity, lightheartedness and a much more vivid and vibrant colour palette, but it doesn't stray as far into the madcap comedy that the Borderlands series is renowned for. The game is certainly going to feel familiar to players who are acquainted with both of those series of games, but will be delighted with the new pathway it forges, despite that familiarity, in the new galaxy of Halcyon. Right from the offset, that instantly discernible style of first-person shooter gameplay is there, evoking memories not just from Fallout and Borderlands, but also games like BioShock and Dishonored. A reassuring layer of role-playing game complexity with character stats, skills and perks provides just enough depth to keep a player interested without becoming overwhelmed. The hallmark first-person shooter weapon selection is here, assault rifles, sniper rifles, pistols, shotguns, etc., but with some interesting and imaginative additions, especially in regards to melee weapons and special energy type weapons, of which some are rare collectibles that you will have to find off the beaten path. Although the range of weaponry may not be as large as in the Borderlands game, it certainly offers enough scope for a variety of different ways to approach combat. Graphically, the game is certainly not pushing any boundaries. In many ways it feels and looks like a game that was released at the beginning of this generation rather than at the end. For this reviewer, it didn't seem to have the sharpness or fidelity of Fallout 4, but there may be a small amount of bias there. Having said that, though, the art style of the game is wonderful. Plenty of colour, an art direction that merges 1950s B-movie-esque futuristic film concepts with unique, new and fresh ideas about what objects, environments, clothes and weaponry might look like in Halcyon. The game does have moments of comedy, especially at the expense of its main characters.
I've worked on the occasional supply coach in need of repairs. Once I built a little model craft out of spare parts, but Mr. Thompson found out and I had to take it apart.
Yet the game isn't as comical as you may have been led to believe from the pre-release advertising. There are serious notes both to the main story and side missions that you will discover, and many of the choices you will make are centered around the morality that you think your character should have. Despite this though, the game still feels very much lighter than Fallout. The story is intriguing enough to keep players wanting to see what happens next. A great cast deliver well-delivered voice performances, especially with reference to the companions that you can recruit along the way. There is also plenty of room for replayability with different story and mission choices to make and different difficulty levels to tackle. It is the gameplay though, complemented by the levelling, progression and looting, that is the real driving factor in the game. Combat is fluid and solid and includes a bullet time VATS ability that this reviewer rarely used on the normal difficulty setting of the game, but began to use far more on the higher difficulties. Justin E. Bell, who scored Fallout New Vegas, delivers an amazing soundtrack, an ambient fueled tour de force that fills the Outer Worlds with its own spacefaring identity. The Outer Worlds isn't going to win any awards for innovation or for creating something completely different. It certainly isn't pushing the boundaries of what is technically achievable graphically, despite having an awesome art style. It isn't even close to being the greatest role-playing game ever made. However, what it does do, and better than so many other games that have been released recently, is be fun. The Outer Worlds is an endearing, entertaining and fun gaming experience that is certain to warm the hearts of players who enjoy first-person shooter-based role-playing games.